and it's going to be relating with money. It's going to be, Dave Ramsey's going to be talking about how nerds and free spirit unite. Nerds are the ones that all they want to do is save money. They don't want to spend nothing, they just want to save, save, save. And the free spirits are the ones that are spend, spend, spend.
Oh.
He talks about how husband and wives.
I'm like a free spirit.
Yeah. Husband and wives have divorced because of money problems.
Yeah.
You know, their relationship really goes on the limb. And it talks about how single parents, how they struggle. And not only are they responsible for the family members, but they're responsible for buying the food, putting a roof over everybody's head, making sure everybody's dressed nice. So they've got a lot of responsibilities. So it's hard for them to grasp and start putting money away. So single parent is the worst. That's why in the Bible it talks about how the church needs to help the widowers
The widows
and
orphans.
the singles. Yes. And so the church needs to help all this. So as members of the family, you know, no one's alone. You know, no one is alone. We're always there to lend a hand, help in any way we can. And so Randy talks about all this stuff. And then he talks about doing the baby steps. How we do you gotta save the money right away, $1,000. Now, Lynn and I looked at each other going, close a little bit, but we ain't got it. But it's gonna take time. You know, it takes time to save up. Now, $1,000, especially for us, that's a lot of money. A lot of dough. But it can be done.
Oh yeah.
It can be done. We just got to be disciplined.
Yeah.
And Bible studies, in the men's Bible study, I teach discipline of a godly man. It talks about how you've got to discipline yourself towards your wife, towards your kids, your finances, your job. How do you get to be disciplined in all that? Being in business with you by yourself now. Having your own business, you really got to be disciplined. Because it's easy for you to get really deep in debt. You can say, oh, I got all kinds of money coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's easy. It's easy for a person to do that. When we were in janitorial, the boss says, here's the keys. You run it the way you want to run it. Oh, shoot. I started going to different companies and ordering different supplies, getting the best deal. You know, when I started with him, he had 4 buildings that he cleaned. When I was let go because I was taking too much of the company, I walked away and they had 15 buildings that they cleaned. I hired everybody for each building. Taught them how to clean, taught them how to go. And I thought, well, shoot, I was 7, I had to go to work in suit and tie every day. But money started rolling in, and money started going out too. So discipline. We got to discipline ourselves. And I'm sure, Sister Barbara, you have to be really disciplined. When you're raising all these kids, you have to be really disciplined on everything. And like I was telling last week, Lincoln on that penny was screaming because I had pinched really tight. And you had to. We raised 4 kids. 2 mine and 2 hers. And it was not fun at all. I mean, you think that you were able to go out in the backyard and get some few bucks off the money tree. That's what kids thought you had anyway. If you wanted these $140, $180 tennis shoes.
Especially teenagers, they wear the harder ones.
They're the toughest. And he talks about this. In this video, he's going to talk about raising the kids, teenagers, youngsters, how to raise them, how to start teaching them to save money. Talks about the envelope for little kids too. How to teach them how to start saving with the envelope. You know, put a few bucks in this one, a few bucks in this other one. And so, everything that we learned the last week, just going to reiterate it and go all over again.
I'm having a tough time figuring out how to follow with the book, and this, I could follow that, that's what you're talking about, but how did you copy?
We copied off the main book.
The main book.
Oh, it's not this book.
Your book is still usable though.
Oh,
See,
okay.
he's going over the same material, just taught differently.
Oh, okay.
We don't
Were
need
you
this.
having a tough time? Yeah, I'm like,
Alright, let's return it.
more to us.
Well, that's kind of why last week I emphasized you guys,
We gotta get
that is why I
that
emphasized
$100
that book. From my experience in the past, that book is much easier to go by than these books.
So these are, this is our,
Well,
Good
we're
stuff.
pinching
I'm
pennies,
returning
like
my
she
book.
said,
Get a picture of
get
that
our
one.
money back for all these books.
yes.
As you go along and read the chapters, they pretty much say everything that the video's going to say.
Everything that's on this is in that book.
Yeah.
Okay.
But vastly over all the different accounts that he has teaching different lessons throughout the
I
spectrum.
had a feeling something was wrong, I'm glad I asked.
This is more people that want to advance their finances. Some of the books, you know, you can give to like a youth or a teenager, and it's explained in a manner which is really
Let
different.
me just say, and I'm sure I'm not alone, I'm not advanced at all. So I don't
Me
know.
too.
All right, say this kindly. You gotta keep up with this man. I know you're advanced. You just be humble.
I'll be able to keep up with it.
All right.
And anytime you have a question, don't hesitate. You know, just say stop, stop the video, and we'll discuss what's on your mind. Don't let it go flying past you and then, oh, what did he say? Or what did he mean? You know, if you need us to explain it, tell us.
You know I'm gonna ask.
Oh, yeah.
Ask. Raise your hand. We'll pause the video. It doesn't matter. Just ask. I'd rather you ask 100 questions and learn something than want to ask a question and get nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, university.
Yeah.
Already got it. Already bought it.
Oh,
Are you ready, brother?
Yeah.
I'll just,
Feeding the dog, or taking out the trash, making your bed. Now things like feeding the dog, or taking out the trash, making your bed, things like that we did, we got paid on. But again, there will be some stuff they're gonna just do. And as a parent, you can decide which one you want. Now during all of this, you wanna teach by example.
Thank you.
Okay, more is caught than taught. I mean, I watched my dad tithe. I watched my mom clip coupons. So your kids are watching. And show them how you're living a debt-free life. Show them how insurance works, how an IRA works. I remember being at the grocery store with mom, and she pulled out her white envelope to pay for the groceries. And she pulled out not just one, but two $100 bills. And I was probably 5 or 6. I remember saying, Mom, it takes $200 to feed us? And she said, that's right, sweetie. And when your little brother gets older, it's going to take a whole lot more. And I thought, wow. And I wouldn't have learned that unless she was doing that and she took the time to show me what they were doing. Now, those are some great ideas, but here are some good mechanics you can use with your kids. When your kids are really young, you can go and get a big plastic clear container for savings. So after they do their chores and you pay them, you can put them in a big plastic container and they get to watch it fill up. So it's a great visual reinforcement. And once it's full, then you get to go and they get to go buy a toy with the money they earned. So you can go to Target or Toys R Us and let them pick out a toy and buy it. And then once it's full, then you get to go and they get to go buy a toy with the money they earned. So you can go to Target or Toys R Us and let them pick out a toy and buy it. And then once it's full, then you get to go and they get to go buy a toy with the money they earned. So you can go to Target or Toys R Us and let them pick out a toy and buy it. And then once it's full, then you get to go and they get to go buy a toy with the money they earned. So you can go to Target or Toys R Us and let them pick out a toy and buy it. And then once it's full, then you get to go and they get to go buy a toy with the money they earned. So you can go to Target or Toys R Us and let them pick out a toy and buy it. And then once it's full, then you get to go and they get to go buy a toy with the money they earned. So you can go to Target or Toys R Us and let them pick out a toy and buy it. And then once it's full, then you get to go and they get to go buy a toy with the money they earned. So you But parents, I will warn you that there will be a moment where you're going to get to the cash register and they're going to count out their little bills and their coins, and there's not going to be enough money there. And in that, I do encourage you to teach them a hard, yes, a very difficult lesson. And that is that there's not enough money here, so we can't buy this toy. Now, we can go find a cheaper toy, or we can wait a week, we can do a few more chores, we can come back and buy it. But in this moment, we cannot buy this toy. And this happened to me, of course. There was a theme park that used to be in Nashville, and I remember we went one Saturday and Dad said, you can bring your big plastic containers, kids, and take some money out and you can play some of the games there. And so we were in the car, we were about to get out, and my sister, who's the godly child of the Ramsey family, said, I'm only gonna take out half. I'm gonna save the rest. And I was like, are you kidding me? No. And so I took my little jar, took all the money I had, stuffed them in my little shorts, and we went into the theme park. And of course, my personality, I see the first game, so I'm like, yeah, sure, that looks great. And I spent all my money in 5 minutes, and I ran out, and I looked at her, I was like, can I have some more money? She said, no. And I looked at Mom and Dad, I said, can I have more money? I need to keep playing, I haven't won yet. And they said, no, Rachel, you're out of money. You're done for the day. And yes, that crushed my little soul, probably, but I learned in that moment, when the money runs out, you're done. But parents, please do not go overboard with this. I was talking to a group of parents a couple months ago, and this mom came down to the front after, and she said, Rachel, we do exactly what you teach. And my 10-year-old son, he saved up $300 for a game system. And we went down, but he forgot about tax. So when they rang it up, the tax was over. He didn't have enough money, so we left. And I thought, your 10-year-old saved up $300? You paid the tax. Are you kidding me? So remember, parents, that your little kids don't have to be little soldiers marching around the house, okay? That was not us as Ramsey kids. So just think, too many rules is just legalistic, but too much grace is enabling. So there is a balance, and you can find that. Now, when they get a little bit older, around 5 to 12 years old, you can advance them into the envelope system. So once they get paid, they learn to put their money into 3 envelopes: the giving envelope, the saving envelope, and the spending envelope. And this is a great technique because they kind of learn budgeting at a really early age. And also, parents, when you get to this point, I encourage you to pay consistently. For us, it was always Sunday nights. We always got paid on Sunday nights. And if you think about you don't want to be paid inconsistently at work. If your boss says, oh, yeah, we forgot about that, we'll do it next week. You don't want that, and your kids they're the same way. Now, once they get to be teenagers, 13, 14, 15 years old, you can advance them into their own checking accounts. Now, this is great. Mom and Dad, of course, did this with us. The amount of money they would normally spend on us, they just put that amount into a checking account. And so we were in charge of taking care of that account that month. And this was great because there's so many lessons with having your own checking account. We got to go down to the bank with them and open it. We got to see it being open. You have to learn to budget. You have to learn to write a check. You have to learn to reconcile a banking account. And, I'm the one that kind of struggles with this money stuff. So, of course, 3 months into having mine, I bounced 3 checks. Yeah, that's awesome. Big Dave Ramsey's kid and bouncing 3 checks. It's like your dad being a dentist, but your teeth are like rotting out of your head or something. I mean, it really doesn't add up. And Dad made me go to the bank and go speak to the executive bank branch manager and go and personally apologize to him for lying. Because I told him I had money in his bank to spend, and I didn't. And that's a lie. You lied. And I couldn't even drive to the bank. I was only 15, and it was awful. Kind of a wound still a little bit, but I've moved past it. But I learned a great lesson because I haven't bounced a check since. A great success story I did have was when I was 16, because Mom and Dad told us from as long as I can remember that we had to save up and pay for half of our cars when we turned 16. So whatever money we saved, they would match. Dad liked to call that his 401 Dave plan. And so when I turned 16, I had saved $8,000. So I got a $16,000 car paid for in cash. And that was huge, because with that car brought ownership. I mean, I drove that car differently than my friends who were just given cars. You know, when Coke was spilled in the back seat, I freaked out about it, you know? I mean, it was my car. So parents, I encourage you to do that. That's a great savings exercise you can do with your kids. Some parents make their kids pay for it all. That's fine. Half of it, that's great. Part of it, whatever you want to do. But have them take ownership in that purchase when they're 16. Now, all of this stuff that we talked about tonight, you know, I didn't learn this in an hour. I didn't learn this in a day money session. You know, I've had 20 years of practice doing this. So my encouragement to you parents, whether you have a 5-year-old or a 15-year-old, to start doing this stuff.
No. Yes.
Start talking to them, engaging them on the subject of money. Because again, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. And that knowledge that you pass on to your kids, that is how you change a family tree. And I believe that is how you can leave a legacy. And also, teaching your kids how to handle money is great, because when they're older, they won't come move back home with you and live in your basement. So it's great for everyone involved. Now, welcome back to the stage the man who taught me how to handle money, my dad, Dave Ramsey.
Yes, I'm a little proud. No question about it, and I should be. Absolutely incredible. Well, she's right. They can end up back in your basement. We call those the boomerangs.
Sorry, guys.
A boomerang.
Oh, I have one at home.
It did not just do that to me.
Wouldn't
How
have-
boomerang to
25.
25, not too bad. When they're 50,
We
we're...
pleaded in the middle.
You're right.
1 in 2 chance that they're below the poverty level.
Yeah, that's.
I'm sorry, guys.
A little scary. Yeah.
Hey, Mom, come change
No,
my
that's for
diaper.
dinner.
Thinks it's complete like that.
Walk with them, help them any way the class can, because they are struggling. Singles face different issues than married people face when it comes to money. One is they face time poverty and fatigue, which can lead to poor money management. Now, we all face time poverty. We're all busy. We're in a frenetic culture. Everything's just crazy and going nuts. But singles have to do everything by themselves. So there's no delegation. You get the dry cleaning, I'll get the oil change. They get to do both. And so they've got the kids. If there's kids involved, they got the whole thing. And it becomes overwhelming. If you're single, beware of impulse buying, which can be brought on by stress or the I owe it to myself syndrome. My life is tough, and so I'll be better if I just get some new clothes. This is known as medicating your life with spending, which makes your life worse. I met a single mom one time who she came in for counseling because every time she dropped her kid off with her nasty, mean ex, they had a fight, and she would go buy a pair of shoes to feel better. And she opened the closet one day, and there were hundreds of pairs of shoes. And she never wore them all. And she didn't even realize she was doing it. And she went, uh-oh, warning, there's a problem. I need some help with this. And so, we put them all on eBay, and we got her out of a bunch of the debt. But, it was, you cannot do this pity party spending stuff if you're single. I'm lonely. I'm going to go to the mall. That's not the place you go. You don't go spend money to feel better in those situations. Loneliness often causes singles to go out and spend money they don't have just to be, quote, out in the world, to get out of this room, to get out of this house, to get out of this apartment. A lot of eating out goes with that as well. So some strategies for single. A written plan gives the single person empowerment, self-accountability, and control. The budget for the single becomes part of their accountability. It's the plumb line. It's their out-of-bounds marker so they know when they're there. If you're single, put a circle around that statement right there and put stars all the way around it. A written plan gives the single person empowerment. It gives you self-accountability, and it gives you control because you have something to measure your behaviors against, because those of us that are married, we have something to measure our behaviors against. It's called our spouse. When we walk in, they go, "What's in that bag?" Right? But you walk in single, you got to have something to measure it against and go, whoop, I went over this category. Or I can't buy this, I'm going to go over this category. And that's what the budget does for the single. It's very, very, very powerful. You need to develop an accountability relationship when you're single. Even the Lone Ranger had Tonto. You got to have some help. You got to have somebody looking. It's not that you're incomplete as a single, but the Bible says in the multitude of counsel there is safety. Now, what an accountability relationship is someone who loves you enough to hurt your feelings for your own good. And so this is someone that, you get ready to do your budget, you get ready to go do an expenditure, they're looking at you going, no! And they're just all up in your stuff going, no, you cannot buy a car, it's a flat tire. Fix the car. And this needs to be someone, it could be a parent, it could be an uncle, it can be a friend, it can be a pastor. I don't care who it is, but they ought to have some sense with their money, right? Your accountability partner doesn't need to be your shopping buddy. Oh, get 3! That's not what we're talking about. And this is someone who you can discuss a purchase with. I'm considering this purchase. What do you think of the wisdom of this purchase? This is someone who you look at your budget with, and they can go over it with you. While you're in Financial Peace University, use your small group as accountability if you're single. But in the meantime, find someone that loves you enough to hurt your feelings for your own good. Now, as we start talking about kids and money, teaching children about money, I can't think of a better person to teach you about children and kids and money than a Ramsey kid. So I want to bring to the stage to have her do this, my daughter, Rachel Cruz.
When you were younger, did you have a birthday where you wanted just one specific gift? You didn't care if you got anything else, but you just wanted that one thing. Well, for me, that was on my 6th birthday. And I can remember sitting on the living room floor, and I had opened up all my gifts. There was wrapping paper and boxes, and I had one gift left. And I can remember just praying in my little 6-year-old voice, God, let it be her, let it be her. And I go down and open the last gift, and as I'm tearing open the paper, there are 2 bold words, American Girl. And if you've had a 5 or 6-year-old little girl in your house recently, you know that gives them oxygen. I mean, that's like life in a box to a little girl, right? An American Girl doll. And I got her out, and I was freaking out, dancing around. I had her and was yelling, being very dramatic, because I am my father's daughter in that way. But then I looked back in the box, and there was something else. And I looked, and it was an American Girl doll magazine. And as I'm flipping through this on the living room floor, this whole new world just opens before my eyes. And there's other dolls, and they have clothes, and they have furniture. And I'm the spender of the Ramsey family, so I'm definitely one that's like, I want. And so I took the magazine at 6, and I was like, look at all this stuff, Mom and Dad, let's get more. Let's get more. And they said very bluntly, Rachel, we do not have the money to go pay for all that American Girl doll stuff. No, play with your doll. Happy birthday, little 6-year-old. And then later that afternoon, Dad came over to me and he said, hey, Rachel, I have an idea. And so we got into the car and we drove to the local flea market. And we were getting out and we were walking around. He said, okay, Rachel, if you see any kind of doll furniture that you like, tell me. And I said, okay. So I remember holding his hand and we're walking through, and over in the corner, I see a white wicker doll set. And I said, Dad, look over there, look at that. And he said, okay, Rachel, I'm going to go over and talk to the man who's selling it. And I'm going to get it for less than what he's asking for. And that's called bargaining. Say bargaining. Bargaining. And we walked over there, true story, and I don't remember what was said or anything, but there was, they were talking, cash was exchanged, and the man put the furniture into a big black bag, and we walked away. And I said, Dad, did you do it? Did you do it? He said, oh yeah. He was asking $50, and I got it for $35. And I thought, my dad is the coolest. And I still have that white wicker doll set. And this is really just a symbol of really what mom and dad did with us as kids of how we learned how to handle money. Mom and dad were so gracious with us, taking us around and really having these teachable moments, showing us in real life, in real time, how to handle money. And that's why I'm so excited to talk to you guys tonight. I think it's, teaching your kids how to handle money, there's more to that. It's more about leaving a legacy. In Proverbs, it says, a wise man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. An inheritance, I think that's one of finances, but I also think that's one of character and one of knowledge. My husband Winston and I, we were doing our budget the other night, because we do our budget together every month, and we were sitting there, and for the first time as an adult, I looked down at that and I thought, Winston, and I told him, I said, we're going to be okay. And not just okay, but we're going to do pretty well. And not because I'm Dave Ramsey's daughter, but because this stuff works. I mean, we are debt-free. We do budgets. We tell our money where to go. We're saving up for a vacation we want to take next summer. We fund our Roth IRA every year. I mean, we're doing this stuff, and it works. And here's the deal, parents. Your kids are going to learn how to handle money. They're either going to learn it from Visa's high school curriculum, they're going to learn it from TV, they're going to learn it from the next reality star, or they're going to learn it from you. Teaching your kids how to handle money is not the school's responsibility. It is your responsibility. In Proverbs, it says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. And I don't think it's a coincidence that those two scriptures are right next to each other. I mean, so bluntly, what does it say? You train up a child and to show them how not to go into debt. It's pretty clear to me. And when I travel around, people always are asking me, what was it like growing up as Dave Ramsey's kid? Or what did your parents do that worked so well? And one of the best pieces of advice I can give them, which is so true, mom and dad did it with us as well, is to put your kids on commissions, not an allowance. And with this, they learn where money comes from. Money comes from work. It doesn't come from your back pocket, giving them a 20 every time they ask, right? They're associating work with money. And in this, your words are powerful. So use the word commission versus allowance. And with commissions, if you work, you get paid. If you don't work, you don't get paid. It's kind of like the real world, and it's good to learn that when you're 5. That is what we went through. Now, we have a great resource called Financial Peace Junior that helps parents teach their kids how to handle money. And in that, there's a great tool called the Commission Worksheet. Now, this is like a dry and erase board that you can put on your refrigerator and put your kids' chores on and how much money they make per chore, and they can go through and check off the days of the week they do the chore. And this is just a great tool to have so your kids see it. It's a visual reference. It keeps up with everything, and it just kind of keeps it organized and keeps it flowing. Now, there are going to be some chores your kids are going to do just because they're part of the family. For us Ramsey kids, it was always the kitchen. I can remember being little, and we always had to take our little plates to the sink. We got a little bit older, we had to scrape them off and put them into the dishwasher. And when we got to be teenagers, we were the ones cleaning the kitchen. And we didn't get paid for that. You just clean the kitchen because you are a Ramsey. And so there will be chores that your kids will...
I don't know what happened.
You didn't touch it.
Next.
I didn't touch anything.
What did you do, Mom, baby?
She telling me,
A 4-year-old spins it.
Down at that, and I thought, as an adult, or they're going to learn it from you. Teaching your kids how to not depart from it. The rituals it's pretty clear to me. And when I travel around, people always are asking me, what was it like growing up as Dave Ramsey's kid? Or what did your parents do that worked so well? And one of the best pieces of advice I can give them, which is so true, mom and dad did it with us as well, is to put your kids on commissions. Not, and it's good to learn that when you're 5, how much money they make per chore, and they can go through and check off the days of the week they do the chore. And this is just a great tool to have so your kids see it. It's a visual reference. It keeps up with everything, and it just kind of keeps it organized and keeps it...
It goes back to Dave Ramsey.
Does it?
Yes.
How to handle money.
Well, we've managed to avoid that so far at the Ramseys. Time will tell if it sticks or not. But part of the way they don't come back is they have a plan. They know how to handle money. They have a competence level with this. What's really scary is 1 in 7 parents right now in America have a grown child living with them. And listen to this one. This one scares me to death for our future. 1/3, 33% of the men that are between 22 and 34 live with their parents. Wow. I can't even imagine that. That is bizarre. Now, as Rachel said, there's a difference between being legalistic and a difference in too much grace, which is enabling. And the mother eagle, what she does is she builds her nest out of thorns, and then she plucks out the down as the little eaglets start to get of size, and those thorns are sticking them, giving those little eaglets reason to leave the nest. And so we don't want it to be too comfortable, but we do want to be a safety net when our children have issues. There's no question about that. But they need to fly and be free. It gives them dignity. The Bible talks about children being an arrow in your quiver. An arrow in your quiver. Now, what arrows are for is they're to be shot. They're to be released. They don't stay back there in the quiver. They are of no value in the quiver. But when you can turn loose a straight arrow into the marketplace doing ministry, it's a pretty rewarding thing. So weave this into the process. Now our next lesson is all about cash flow planning. We're going to go deep into the budget process. Look at that thing. It's not boring. We're going to learn how to get control, how to tell our money what to do instead of wondering where it went. And I want you to do your first budget committee meeting this week. Nerds and free spirits unite. Here we go. And get that quick start budget. Start working on that together this week, putting all of that together. And those of you that are single, start looking for your accountability partner, someone to do your budget with. And folks, you got to understand the Financial Peace University stuff. Yes, it's biblical. And sometimes stuff in the Bible, it kind of affects our spirit, or it's kind of almost theoretical or strategic. The way that we teach this stuff, though, is we put clothes on it and it's application. You are literally going to be doing things every week differently than you ever have based on biblical principles. Things like doing a budget, things like working with your spouse, things like singles having an accountability partner, things like teaching your kids so that a godly man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, things like giving your grown child an eviction notice. All of these things. All of these things. So it's not theory. This is actual application on everything. We are about getting you to do things you've never done so that you get things you've never gotten. Take 1 minute and review what you're going to do as a result of this lesson.
That would be it.
Yeah. Something we didn't go completely through the DVD. Because when I watched it at home,
Go on that little yellow thing in the bottom how you did, and just rewind it from there.
down here on the bottom line.
Yeah. There you go. Yep, you got it.
Oh yeah, no, you're gonna see it all over again. This was the very end of.
Of the 55 minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, this is the.
Your kids. Some parents make their kids pay for it all. That's fine. Half of it, that's great. Part of it, whatever you want to do. But have them take ownership in that purchase when they're 16. Now, all of the stuff that we talked about tonight, a little bit, but I've moved past it.
So if you click down here,
Yeah, we already saw all that.
We've got paid on, but again, there will be some stuff. They're gonna just bed, feeding the dog, or taking out the trash, making your bed, things like that. What we did, we got paid on, but again, there will be some stuff they're gonna just do. And as a parent, you can decide which one you want.
there was a lot.
Now, during all of this, you want to teach by example. Okay, more is caught than taught. I mean, I watched my dad tie.
Yeah, this is the only videos.
Yeah, this.
Yeah, it's all it's giving me to play. Off the DVD.
Okay. But anyway, during this video that I watched earlier, like I said, it talked about how the husband and wife are working start to saving money, and how the wife is always the one that's saving money, the husband's always the one spending. And with single parents, you're the one that's gotta save and spend. So you tend to save. You tend to hang on to what you have and not spend unless it's an absolute necessity. Now, Ramsey talks about how we need to do our 7 baby steps. Talks about how we need to get that $1,000 or as much as we possibly can and put it away. You know, has anybody started putting money away? Okay. All right, good. Yeah, great. I know Lynn stashes. And I spend. But,
I hide it.
you have to do that. And the spenders, who are the free spirit individuals, who like to go out and say, oh, yeah, I can afford this. Really, you don't. You can't. That's when the credit cards come through. What did Ramsey talk about credit cards? Have a credit card party. Cut them up. Throw them away.
Plastic surgery.
Yeah, plastic surgery, correct.
Okay.
Get rid of them. Because they're companies are not out to make you rich. Companies are out there to make themselves rich. They're out to make money off of you. That's why if you have a credit card, you're spending anywhere from 18 to 30% interest on that card. And if you don't pay it off right away, guess what? You're going to double what you owe. Before the year is up, if you've got $2,000 on this credit card, and in 12 months, you owe $4,000. And if you're trying to pay off as fast as you can, it's hard. Because all of a sudden, it starts biting into all the money you've got. So the first thing we've got to do is get rid of them.
Yep.
Save up what you got, put it in an envelope, put it away. And once a month, go in there and take that few bucks, put it in the envelope, and stash it away. And forget it. I remember Lynn was telling me the other day that she was in the back room. She had to find some papers, and she came across an envelope that she had, and she had money in it. And she goes, "Did you put this away?" Me? Not me. She goes, "Well, I don't know where it came from."
It was with a bunch of old pictures. I was looking for something for Annalise, and she was supposed to be helping me look, but she always leaves me hanging. So I called her and I said, "Did you leave me the money for your insurance? Because we pay her insurance and she pays us." I said, "Did you leave me the money for your insurance?" She said, "No." And then I said, "I found $180." She said, "Oh yeah,
Yeah, I love that.
That was me.
Where'd you leave it?
Oh no, where'd you leave? Where'd you find it? But things happen like this.
Found it.
And that's Lynn. That's the way she does things. Praise God. Praise God. But you know, we have to discipline ourselves. It's very important to discipline ourselves. You know, and if we could put $2 away, guess what? We could do 4. You got $4 away stashed, we can go to 6. And before you know it, you got $10 saved. And being from old country, old school, that's a lot of money.
yeah.
That's a lot of money. I was telling my kids when they were growing up because they wanted new tennis shoes, they had to have the best clothes. I said, I used to work all summer long, get $75 a week to work for a farmer. All that money was being saved. My mom would save it all. And by the end of the summertime, she had enough to go buy all clothes for everybody.
Nice.
And so we didn't get the best. We got jeans, and we got thick plaid shirts. Something that's gonna last the whole year. Sometimes they didn't. Sometimes they'd wear out on the knees. But Mom would have those iron-on patches on iron-on patches, or she'd sew. She'd sew on a new patch on there. So we saved. And I would get upset because I worked hard all week. I wanted that paycheck. I'd look at it, $75. All right. Signed it, hand it to my mom. She'd give me $5, maybe $6 out of that paycheck. I said, well, I'm going to be happy for $5. I was able to go take my girl to a drive-in movie, buy sodas, hamburger.
Nowadays, that's the hamburger, not even
that's
the
not a hamburger.
Fries and that's it.
But back then, you know, I used to buy a pair of good work shoes for $5. 25 cents for a pair of nice leather gloves.
It sounds easy to me.
$2.50 for a good hat. But back then, you know, things were cheaper, but you weren't getting paid very much. I made more money than my dad did. But the boss that he worked for gave him a house to live in, paid for the heat, you know, and so the electricity was all paid for. So he made more money than I did, but I thought I was making more money.
Yes.
Yeah, right. But that was farmland. That's the way you do it. You know, and we have a whole acre as a garden. So that's a lot of ground. That's a lot of vegetables. Mom taught us how to can tomatoes, pickles, corn. Any vegetable that we grew, Mom taught us how to can it. And so we had a storeroom. And in there was shelves, and they were loaded with vegetables, loaded with canned meats. Mom knew how to can meat. So we had plenty of food for the winter time. But that was discipline. We had to discipline ourselves for all this stuff. And so that's what we have to do now. This session right here, we do a little bit about the kids, how to teach them, but we have to learn it first. We have to learn it first before we can teach anybody else. Is there any questions on what we just saw?
Yeah, where's the budget page? How do we do the budget? That they were talking about.
It's like a budget.
Budget page. This chapter doesn't have the budget page, but if you have the book,
The book should have a budget page in there.
I didn't see
Yeah.
it.
the budget page looks like this. This is your, on the back, accelerated spending plan and spending plan. And the back,
Did we make copies of it?
no,
Not yet?
No,
Not yet.
I would have found it.
Okay.
I didn't look in the book.
But if it would be easier that you want us to, I'll make copies. Just,
Yes, please.
uh,
Thank you.
Because we need to learn how to budget, don't we?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Is that it?
that's it.
Wait, what page is it on?
48.
Oh.
So
We
that's
got it.
later, that's later on in the program then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that doesn't happen until he teaches you how to be kind
I
of.
think it's,
3. It's next week.
yeah, next week.
Um,
Go ahead.
All right, I'll wait.
normally we break up in groups,
You're ahead of the game.
but
I'm starting now.
yeah, as small as we are, I'm not gonna have us all break up in individual groups. But right now, I wanna talk about the breakout group exercise.
What?
It's called the breakout group exercise.
What
Normally
page
we
is
get
it on?
little groups, we talk about what's on here, but I'm just gonna call it out. And what this is gonna do is kinda help you gauge you on your spending. What's more important, being a free spirit or nerd school? Nerd.
I'm a nerd.
Me too.
So this is, I'm gonna ask you guys the questions. If you guys get to pick this packet, it's gonna be this.
I only got this one. Is it-
Yeah, it's toward the middle.
Yeah, it's a little further in the back. Guys, it's like this.
Oh. Which one does it go?
Grab that paper for me. Give me that.
Oh, I don't have the right one, you probably do.
That's
This
it,
one?
guys,
So
there.
it's the colored one, what's that one?
All the packets have the same pages, so it looks like this.
There's 2 pages.
Yeah, I
That's the one
I don't know Spanish. I can speak in tongues.
¿Estás en español?
Yeah,
¿Se lo traduzco?
Yeah, group exercise.
yeah, I'm gonna kind of talk about it and we're all gonna judge ourselves. Judge ourselves. Alright, so usually the activity, we go in a row. This is what I'm gonna do actually now.
We need to
Are you doing nerd spirit right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna do nerd spirit or statement 2. But let's start with statement 1. You actually enjoy balancing a checkbook.
That's fine.
That's you. That's what I hire people to do. Second one would be rules are important and should be followed.
Do we do a check mark if we
Yeah.
with it? Okay, okay.
Now, you can also look on the next side, which says rules are more like suggestions. It could be considered.
Okay.
All right, so look at the ones across to kind of gauge yourself.
Oh.
So third one, you're always on time. Always. Oh, there's that book. That's the one.
Oh, pastor's always yelling at me.
All right. Fourth, you spend more time planning the vacation than actual vacation itself. And then you have the one next to it says, vacations are more fun, but the calendar's blank, and you just go.
Go for it, Becky.
Okay, that's half and half. I'll check both of them.
Fifth one is going to be, you read the introductions of books. They're in there for a reason. And next to that is gonna,
Wait, you skipped the recipe.
what?
So the vacation.
Oh, the recipe should be, yeah, okay, you guys saw that.
Precisely, follow.
Precisely follow like rules,
That's
or
right.
Oh,
recipes or suggestions.
I-
Just do a dash here and a dash there.
I do both.
I do both.
Me too.
Alright, so I think the next one's gonna be, you read the introductions of books. They're in there for a reason.
That's right.
No.
Or you skip introductions, and
Yes.
then it's like, you read blood.
See?
Alright, next one. You organize your shirts by color, or you will when you get home. Or the next to it is gonna be, you're doing good, just get your shirts and hang them up.
Oh, I'm pretty anal about it.
Yeah, I am too. You can't wait.
If I get them on the hanger, I'm good.
That's it. That's me too.
Yeah.
And that's why I spend
What are you
$80 a
saying?
month to have someone do my laundry.
Midor saying,
I hate one.
your dirty clothes basket is full.
And
That means
I'll
laundry
wash
time.
it.
My mother used to.
And then she'll tell me
Got you.
the dryer turned off, your clothes are.
Oh,
That means go get your clothes on.
Alright. Third to last, you can't wait for Dave to teach you about budgeting. Next would be, you're considering fake an illness the night of the budget lesson.
I had an excuse last week.
That's in there, I didn't make that up.
He did write it.
I was actually wasting my money last week.
Alright, second to last, living for the moment sounds irresistible to you. Living for the moment.
Irresponsible.
Oh, did I say irresponsible?
You said
Irresistible.
irresistible.
We understood, don't
I'm
worry.
kind of special, sorry.
It's late.
Living for the moment sounds like the soundtrack of your life. That's me, yeah. Alright, last one. Clutter is annoying and frustrates you.
Yes.
versus it's not clutter, it's character.
It's character.
That's what I call it.
Organized
I
character.
call it organized character.
I love my trinkets.
Organized clutter.
Oh.
I
Oh,
had 8 out of 10.
oh, wait, you still got the other one, nerd free spirit. Second page.
Okay.
So I'm sorry guys, some of it got cut off, but you won't understand what it's saying.
It's alright.
The next statement, you actually enjoy, oh wait a minute, I have 2 pages on this.
Oh, yeah, this is the same. It's okay. We'll go
Okay,
next.
we're good there.
Okay,
So
so
this
how
is-
do I do this?
Alright, at the bottom of that page, you'll notice there's like 2 little squares. Wait a minute, here, go backwards. Down here, you put your score.
Your nerd score.
I put like 8 because I had 8 on the nerd side and 2 on the
Free
Yep.
spirit.
free spirit.
And that is your subtotal.
I get accused of not being free
Oh, wait.
enough.
Wow, 47.
How do I do it?
Just add it together.
Just add, yeah, each side.
There's 10 total.
1,
Yeah.
2,
You're
I got
free
47.
spirit.
Yeah.
She complicated it. She did both sides on some. Okay, so I guess we're gonna have to pair this one. 1, 2, 3,
I only did one,
4,
both
5,
sides.
6. You got that?
Okay.
And then your left side.
So I'm more of a nerd?
So you're 6, and then a 5.
No, I think it's
You're a balanced
Nerd.
nerd, free spirit.
I like it. I wish I was more balanced.
I'm more of a free spirit. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
It's something to laugh at a little bit, you know, some of us.
So it's something to work at.
Yeah.
Yes.
And once you start seeing what you actually are,
You,
then you know what to work for.
you're focused on realizing where you need
You're
improvement.
a turd.
Yeah, definitely.
Where can I improve? I know where I can improve myself.
You're the same.
Oh, yeah. Now I can see
What if
where I'm
we
gonna
don't-
improve.
Because you're free spirit.
What if we like our
Organization.
life with
You're there?
No,
Or
she's
free
a
spirit.
free
She's a
spirit.
Cool.
Get it?
Being a nerd is good.
Oh, thank you.
Being a nerd is good.
Represent.
Yeah.
Sorry, Fred.
Being a free spirit
You're 5 of
is just
5.
as good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You
you'll be
are-
broke all the time.
Not on the record.
I know, so true. That's me too.
Yep.
And
But the majority, yeah. She was 5'5", so she's
Oh,
she's labeled as
oh, she's, see, Barbara, you're
She's
better
free
than me. You're like,
That's what you call a free-spirited nerd.
she's just surfing on by. Huh?
That's so true.
What about you, my baby?
I got a daddy.
I'll take care of it.
She'll always think you're a shirt.
And you know, and that's another thing. When the daughter was up there talking, and she was talking about how Dad's always pulling out 20, and that was me. That was me.
Because I got it, here it is.
Yep.
My dad just said, they'll change your tire, then I'll give you a 5.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
You know,
That American Girl doll. So, man, I got my kids.
I got my other dolls.
3 of those dolls apiece with all the stuff.
What else you want? I got my mom, G.I. Joes were my thing. I always have to get the newest and the best.
yep.
If I wanted something that was expensive, I would,
Yeah,
she would
What
work
was those
work me
dolls
hard.
that were buying Annalie?
Oh, I
Jack Kathy.
forgot. They're the
Chatty cat,
littler
oh my
ones.
goodness.
Monster something dolls. They dressed with real high heels.
like the brats.
Oh, like
The
the brat
brats,
ones, the monster
yeah.
ones?
Yeah.
Pretty.
Yeah.
She wanted those.
She had all kinds of
She had
those.
tons of them.
And now I give them to all the other little kids when they come
Yeah.
over. Aw, you're so
So we had last year at the trunk or treat, we had Noah's Ark. We had a bunch of stuffed animals up on
Yeah, that's right.
And Lynn said, no, these ones we keep. The ones we give away will be the ones surrounding.
Around it.
Everybody wanted
Oh, an
an
animal.
animal. And they have an animal.
You're like, nope.
So this is the, what score says about you. So if you're nerdish, you got like a 4 and a 5, right? and that says your balance. You balance your checkbook regularly. Shop on only when things are on sale, and you got rid of your credit cards years ago. If you are a nerd, straight up nerd, which will be about like a 6 and a 7.
Gee, thank you.
Nerd. When it comes to budgeting, you're paying down debt. All you do is win.
Ta-da.
There you
Yes,
go.
I'm so like
Now
that.
this is ultra nerd. You are a nerd to the 10th degree,
That's me.
and I do have a membership for you.
Lynn's gonna be president of it.
I'll teach you all how to do it.
You're gonna go to bed and be like,
So free,
ultra nerd.
He makes the bills, I keep them paid down.
free spiritish is the next, which is a 4 and a 5.
Yeah, that was
So
me.
you've got a budget, but you can't remember the last time you actually looked at it.
Me.
I look at it like, I won't lie, I probably look at it like a dozen times a day.
I try not to.
Because I got bills that come out, bills that go in, money that goes in, and I'm trying to think, okay, did I pay for that stock? Do I have to pay taxes? Yeah, that helps me keep ahead of myself.
I
And
try to control that. I cannot do an automatic.
Yes.
that's why I do it multiple times.
Especially when
But
you lose a job.
Dave Ramsey, you weren't here for the first class. See, Dave Ramsey actually, this is what I do in my life. So he even says if he can, he will set up everything on auto pay. Not only does it actually decrease some, like your car insurance and health insurance, if you get auto pay, that's nearly 10 to 12% off. I'm gonna, a great example today. My dad had to go rechange his car insurance because it went up from $67 to $105. So Daddy decided, you know what? I'm out of here. We go get his car, cancel one and get the new one, and it was $54 a month because he got direct deposit instead of 62.
Nice.
So Dave Ramsey was correct. Get
Yeah.
things in auto pay, and you not only are you increasing the money you save and have in the bank, you decrease the amount you have to pay out because it's auto pay. Best thing in the world.
I would say that's actually that's the way to go. But when you're actually doing the auto pay, you gotta actually be able to
Remember to have the funds.
do your budgeting.
Yes.
You're gonna have to kind of be a little better with your budgeting.
And
You
that's
gotta make sure you have the funds.
Yeah, make sure the funds there. Don't get that coffee that just cost you $7.
Exactly. Because you got a bill that's $7.
That's it. All right, free spirit. Budgets are for people who don't live in the now and really seize the
Is
day.
this your shoe?
Is that your sister?
That's a 6 and a 7.
Oh, me.
Look at that humility. Put your head
I
down.
wanna be like that.
You know what? Be good.
Yes. I'm like that when I go to California.
All right, and then the last one. Oh, so free spirit. I think you're the president for this one. Budgeting are for boring people.
Oh, Lord
No.
Jesus.
I'm boring.
Boring to you.
But
Well,
you know,
I tell Lynn, because I say, sometimes I'm going to bed and she's still up with the checkbook. So what are you doing? I gotta balance it.
Yeah.
that was me a week ago. Gotta run my numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
That was me a week
She's gotta
ago.
go to bed with the numbers in her head. Oh yeah, we got that, we got that.
That's just her way of counting the
I
sheep.
know.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
she counts bills. The ones that are paid. Oh yeah, this was paid, this was paid.
One, two,
We're good.
Yeah.
I have paid on an envelope that I saved.
Yeah.
I do.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, hey, nobody's picking on
That's
you.
good, that's good. I'm proud.
Right? Because I got this cashmere.
Yeah.
Roll
We got
up.
about 5 discussion questions, and I want to give you the question and kind of ponder it or even take a note of what it is to you. Number 1, tell your group where you landed. Nerd free, nerd, free spirit, roughly in between.
I'm free spirit-ish.
Does this surprise you? Why? Why not? Take a note, just take your time and Write that down.
What if you just never thought about it? It's just
It's not-
how you live. I've never thought about all this.
Well, that's why you
Me neither.
thinking about it now.
You know, that's why we're taking this class.
I mean, this is where you guys could really, having the pressure to have to do it now makes you focus a little deeper on the change.
You know, I never called myself a free spirit. I just, if I got it, I go to spend it. And if I don't have it, I says, well, I'll wait for it.
I'll get paid this
Yeah.
Friday.
All right, the second question for you guys to think about. Free spirits. Tell your group why the saving category is so important. And probably everyone here could probably answer why saving is important. Christmas time, you get to buy 5 new shoes instead of 1.
Well, emergencies for
Emergency,
mothers.
yeah. Grandchildren, car payment. You're gonna be behind the next one, so you're gonna give them this much, you know.
I just had to fall back on something.
Well, if that's your category for you, yeah, you can fall back on something.
Well, now we don't have our grandchild, we can't claim her on our taxes anymore.
Oh, no.
And so when the income tax comes,
You're gonna have to pay.
we're gonna have to pay. So we're gonna have to start saving up for that. Cause that's not good. Uncle Sam wants everything.
Oh,
Very good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, before I was struggling in the taxes category with stocks and bonds, because when you sell, you buy, you sell, you buy, you have to pay taxes no matter what.
Yes.
And one year, it was like $887 taxes just because of stocks. And several months later, the Dave Ramsey course, I thought to myself, I hate you, Pastor. This could have helped me 6 months ago. But yeah, I will tell you, after learning this, dwelling upon it, reading it multiple times, even when I have it packed there on a bunch of packets, I thought about it. I went, wow, I looked at this the whole wrong way. I was taught one way from the perspective of a farmer versus the open thinker who definitely helps expand their horizons when they want to do bigger and better things. You know, if we think poor or you think small, then the power of your income is going to be small. But when you think disciplined and focused, the outcome of that is much greater. Not only are you seeing savings everywhere. Oh, that TV at Black Friday, $125. It was $125 6 months ago. People miss that. You know, not focusing on prices, not focusing on where can I save the money. That's why a few minutes ago I just said something about my dad saving all that money for direct deposit. Our biggest picture is like we get sucked into the, I'll say, delusion of it's life, this is how things work now. Well, if we think this is how things work now, then you're not leaving any room for, Christ, and you're not leaving any room for growth and change. This is the biggest problem we have today with the younger generation in their 20s, 30s, 40s. I'm still learning, but I can tell you this now, that if it wasn't for the Dave Ramsey course, my perspective of open thinking during finances would be small in ministry. I can tell you, I promise you'll get out of this as much as you put into it. And what Dave Ramsey is going to help us do is really focus on self-development and personal financial development. But he's going to emphasize from multiple chapters on self-development and how he's doing us is these discussions, thinking about your worth, or how you're lazy in one category, really goofy in another category, or you're just all.
He talks about when you're doing these courses, when you're writing stuff down, when you go home tonight or the rest of the week until we come in next week. If you think of something, write it down. It'll not only get an answer for you, but it would benefit everybody else.
Yeah.
Because you might be thinking you all could be thinking of the same thing, but we got different ideas as to how to come around, how to figure it out.
Yeah, me and my wife, we always had that mentality of poverty. So we always lived in poverty.
Right.
Until recent. And now with these classes, I'm learning a lot, and I'm like trying to get out of that mindset. Me and my wife and the family were like, no, we're not in poverty no more. We're speaking wealth.
Right.
We're praying for bigger than we can imagine.
Right.
And slowly it's happening, and
it's coming around.
It's coming around.
It's coming around, you
It's
know.
coming
And
around.
my mind and ears, they're being open now
Yeah,
to
definitely.
like, cause I'm not getting younger.
Come on.
I'm only gonna get older, and if I keep thinking this poverty-ish way, this is it. This is as good as it's gonna get when you have all of this to succeed
There is no boundaries.
and
Until
see in
no God.
life.
Right.
So,
Well, you know, when Lynn started working for the city, I started working for the city, and we started getting, when we got vested, I mean, we were ready. We were starting putting money away for retirement. And we didn't think about it. We were making good money. Come tax time, we got a lot of money back because we always paid more than what we needed for taxes. We paid
Married at a higher single rate.
married at a higher single rate is what we were doing. So we were getting like, you know, $10,000 to $12,000 every year back from our taxes. We'd go on vacation, we'd go on cruises, we did all our traveling. So we don't have to do it now. I got sick, she got sick. And we said, praise God, we were able to do all that. So we don't have to do it now.
And the nice thing about when he got sick, a social worker came into our home and told me, because he couldn't think that straight, told me, you need to sell your house because you're going to go under. You're going to lose your house. And I just kept thinking, no, Lord, you can get us out of this. And I just didn't believe her, and we never missed one
People of
house
the world
payment.
think very never
Yeah.
With Christ,
praise God for
they
that.
think
Yeah.
I have never missed a house payment. In all the 25 years or more that we've been there, never missed a payment. Because I didn't believe what she said.
Yeah.
I believed what God was telling me.
This is actually where all our thinking changes. I mean, his is a prime example. I read a book, and I recommend this to any kid I can read well. A book I really recommend you guys read it, and I really recommend it. It's Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Rich Dad Poor Dad. Please, I beg you guys to read it, because Robert Kiyosaki it's like us, just every day go to work. And his father was poor, poorer than a pauper. But you know, the guy's now a self-made millionaire, and he works for Donald Trump in regards to the financial future of the United States. He's on his financial committee. But before he was on that financial committee, he's been a poor man, poor boy. And now, through his years of growing up as a financial expert, he helps narrow-minded people or regular people that are used to being thinking that they have to be poor versus think rich, be rich. And he'll say that in the book, if you think rich and be rich, but not spend like a rich person, your first years of trying to get through this not only will be easier, but the perception of what is being spoken over you or spoken to you will sit and settle and realize this whole time I'm spending all this and I'm a lot richer than I thought I was. You know? I'm gonna go to this now, guys. We didn't talk about homework, but I'm gonna give you homework. There are, on this page,
I ain't gonna do it.
fail! I'll give him your A.
Alright, free spirit.
So there are gonna be three things you're gonna have to do this week. One, identify your accountability partner. We're all gonna hold each other accountable. All of us are gonna hold each other accountable to our best ability. Daniel, sorry, you're gonna have to put those spinners on hold.
As a matter of fact, I got a confession. I'm a fool-free spirit. I just want you to realize that. I'm a full-on free spirit.
Well,
not everyone here is married, so it's gonna give you options for singles and married couples, alright? So, to your best ability, write down in your head. Your second one here is gonna be review your quick start budgeting together. Your family, do it together. And, you know, with your plan, I suppose, too. Write it down. I think probably next Tuesday, I wanna discuss, what's your plan? You know, we don't need to know each other's income. We just, how we think is how we're gonna help each other, changing our perspective. You know, Sister Barbara, if it wasn't for her, I'd still be speaking the way I usually speak when I'm sarcastic and I say, I expected worse all the time. She'd repeat me.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that, because then it puts it sit out, even if it's a joke, it stays there.
Dog.
And as I'm doing the study on my own, I'm realizing I'm now doing it to my father. Stop saying that, Dad! It's been a horrible morning. I dropped my coffee. I stubbed my toe. I lost my credit card. Oh, here's my credit card. I guess I didn't lose that. When you start saying these things, yeah, I noticed since I've stopped, it has changed my life. And because of that, you know, Pastor noticed. I didn't notice, but Pastor noticed. Our words is what kills us financially.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm seeing it. It's a curse. We speak it. And I'll tell you how I had to stop this curse, and this was just the last several weeks. I grew up in poverty. My grandmother was rich, but the rest of us were poor. I stayed in that zone when I got epilepsy. And that just killed me spiritually. And I just thought, I guess this is what God has for me. And I was ignorant. Until I grew up and I realized, you know what? No, that's not what the Bible says my promises are. And so, during this first few weeks of doing this program, let's check each other on how we're speaking. Are you speaking blessings over your life? Are you inherently speaking negative to somebody else's because they're annoying and you're like, oh God, they're so stupid? Are we watching our words and are we watching our thoughts? This will make a big change for all of us. We're really thinking positive about our finances, our outcomes, even if they're horrible. There's still better outcomes than other people. And our words, Sister Barbara.
I wanted to say that our words are so powerful that we could change the course of somebody else's life just by what we've spoken to them and continue to speak to them, because what happens is the enemy comes and takes those words and builds a stronghold in that person's life and constantly feeding off of that negativity. And I know a person that's been hearing that their whole life, and that's who they think they are.
Yeah.
And that's not who they are, because you know we are all fearfully and wonderfully made. But because this person was spoken negatively about their whole life, that they're still dealing with that and haven't been able to come out of it.
Right.
I gotta confess that everything God's doing in this church right now is about to explode.
Yes, it is.
Not only are we now running this, doing this, I see things financially heading for this church to explode.
Yes.
You know, I believe that God's trying to get the leadership and those that want to grow together and learning more from each other than sitting at home and not fellowshipping. This isn't even fellowship. We're all learning. I learned from this woman every second I talk to her. I'm learning something. Fred, same thing. You know, inspiration and discipline.
Amen.
She does a Bible study too, very good. Use that.
Yeah, she's just sitting there.
But Fred, you guys gotta set some time. The last page of the booklet, it's kind of like a newsletter. It's really gonna help you learn.
The danger zone.
Danger zone. This will help you respectively identify the zone that you are in. Beyond all that, anything else you think of?
No, that's about it.
I hope everybody has gotten something out of this.
Oh yeah. because I feel good about it,
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
and I feel good teaching them.
Yes.
Because this is something all of us can use.
Yeah. It's just like Brother Zeno was saying, I feel like this class is being here because maybe there's a reason why our church is little. You know what I mean?
We're all thinking little.
Not only that, but we're trying to learn how to manage our little. So when we manage our little and overcome it all, and we start making more, it's like a lot of people need money, just like we need it. You know, we're teaching ourselves to manage it as well as being able to manage others with it.
Right. And helping them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there'll be members that they've asked me, well, what is the talk about? But your financial planning. I says, come and join us. Be with us. There's plenty of room. I said, we got this whole building that we can just break up into groups and learn from each other. They said, oh yeah, sounds great.
And they're not here.
There are plenty of no-shows.
But you know what, our Bible study is, fellowship too.
Yeah.
When we come for Bible study, it's nice, because we're fellowship, learning from each other.
We could also, I mean, we could bring in people in, you know, guests that need help in their financial need. Not even part of this church. I gotta be honest, if you're coming, you're bringing a guest here to do something like this, not only is that gonna help us to grow, but it's gonna help someone else grow too, economically, financially.
I'm teaching my daughter all of this stuff that I'm learning.
Yeah.
She's gonna be 19. I'm like, you're 65. You could be a multi-millionaire.
You got plenty of copies if you want to take one too.
Yeah, no, she reads everything
Oh, okay.
from what I'm getting.
All
May I
right.
have one actually?
Oh,
She's learning.
Please and thank you.
So, it's been great. I think as long as we continue this path that we're on, that God wants us to be on, that it's going to benefit all of us.
Amen.
Yeah.
And I think it's great. Have anything else?
Thank you, Jesus.
Brother Daniel, you want to close prayer?
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, first off, I just want to thank you. I thank you for all the opportunities you give us, Lord, and I thank you for continuing to allow us to grow and be more wise and have more wisdom. And Father, I thank you for Brother Fred, Sister Lynn, and Brother Daniel, and my brothers and sisters here that are able to join this class. Lord, it's eye-opening. Father, and I thank you for opening my eyes, opening my ears, opening my mind and my heart, and coming to the realization that, yes, I am a free spirit. Don't care about finances. But now I am. Lord, and I want to have abundance. And I want my brothers and sisters to have abundance. And Lord, we know with you, all things are possible.
Yes.
And you want to bless us more abundant than we could ever imagine.
Thank you, Lord.
Where we do have to give it. Father, and I just thank you for this opportunity. And Lord, and until you, Terry, allow us to continue to grow. Allow us to continue to know more about each other and to hold each other accountable, Lord, with love and compassion.
Yes.
Father, I just thank you. I ask that you just continue to be with us, continue to allow us to think bigger than our imaginations. Lord, and I ask for blessings upon each and every one of us.
Yes.
I pray for financial blessings upon each and every one of us, Lord. Father, and I ask that you just let our dreams become reality. Let it come to pass. Let it come to fruition, Lord, and in the process, having you there first in everything. I I thank you, Lord. I love you, and I give you all the glory and all the praise. In your heavenly name, Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Yeah, he turned up.
Yeah, everybody.